Here we go. And in reference to one of the questions which will be coming up, I'm taking my headphones out. Today's topic is audio mixer differences. Specifically, we're talking about the differences in the audio mixer between the different YoloBox models. But if you have general audio mixer questions, throw them into the comments. My name is Anthony Barocas for YoloLiv. I am an independent end user just like all of you. I work with YoloLiv in making the tutorials, and as such, I have access to all the different models. So that's what we will be talking about today. I have a long history of streaming production. I've done everything from broadcast television, corporate streaming, local weddings, and things like that. I do the full gamut. And the YoloBox is one of the tools that I use. Specifically, because this is a YoloBox show, this is produced completely on the YoloBox. The countdown, the music, any graphics we use, the picture-in-pictures, the backgrounds, the green screen replacement, the comments coming in, this is all YoloBox. All of it. There's the only thing I have other than YoloBox is I have an ATEM Mini that we talked about the last show. I have an ATEM Mini just because I have too many sources. The YoloBox has 3 inputs. I have 4 inputs plugged into the ATEM Mini, and that comes in as input number 2 on my YoloBox Pro. So technically I have 5 inputs going into my YoloBox. And even with that, I don't have enough inputs to do everything I have going on the table today. So we will be using this overhead camera a lot. So this is the Pro that we'll be demoing. You'll notice there is no video output, which is this port right here. There's no video output, so I only have the overhead. But if I wanted to show you a model, I could click on this one, and this is actually, if you recognize the display, this is the ATEM. Not the ATEM, this is the YoloBox Mini. So I am using the output of the YoloBox Mini, which looks like this. So this is the output. So I can have that one off the camera, and I can show you this one here. We will also be talking about the original YoloBox. You can tell this one is the original because there's only 2 HDMI inputs. And let me turn this one on while we're waiting. And we also have the the InStream. So this is the InStream over here, and it's vertical, so I have a different layout for this. And the InStream is over here, and I can control that right here, and we're going to be talking about the... Oh, that's interesting. There we go. We're going to be talking about the audio mixers in these devices, and as you can see, this has a big audio mixer. Interestingly enough, and I'll just throw this out there, the InStream shows you all of the potential sources, even if they're not plugged in. So I have a USB camera plugged into it. I don't have any more outputs to feed it another video camera. Actually I do, but I'm not going to do that now. So but here's your local video and everything. So I can scroll down, and you can see all of that is already there. Whereas if you were to look at my Pro, I have HDMI 1. HDMI 2 and 3 are not listed here. So it's not listing sources that aren't yet connected. Whereas the InStream is listing every single source that could possibly be there, but only making available, or it's much brighter in its color, only making available those things that are connected, which is an interesting way of doing it, and it's a key difference between the way the InStream works and the YoloBox works. Also, you notice it's very vertical, so the way that this is designed is much more narrow than the YoloBox, which looks like this. It's much wider. It has more travel on this pathway, and people often ask me, why can't I just do vertical video on the Pro? And it's because the entire interface of the InStream is designed vertically. Luis Sanchez, why can't we hear the correct time in the audio in the headphones? This is a very basic question, and it is relevant to today's talk. We're talking about the audio mixer. And the issue is the YoloBox, like most I'm going to say low end, and that's not disparaging, most low end mixers, what it does is it handles non-synchronized video sources. So if you go to the broadcast world, every single camera is receiving a sync pulse. So they all scan from the top of the frame to the bottom of the frame at the exact same time. It's like a bunch of troops all marching to the same beat. The YoloBox is taking in cameras and they're all marching to different beats. Well, you can't dissolve between two cameras, between two video signals that are at different points in the scan weight. So what happens is the YoloBox has to take every input, rip it apart, redo it to the internal clock. That takes time. It takes about 1 to 2 frames. Each frame is 30 milliseconds. So if you want your audio to match the video, it has to delay the audio to match the video, which it has to delay to do the sync. So unless you want your audio and video to never match, the YoloBox is built to delay the audio. So there it is. Why can't we hear the correct time in the audio in the headphones? Because you're listening to the program. You're listening to post synchronization that is going out to the audience. You're not listening to what's coming in, you're listening to post synchronization. You're also listening, if you're on the Pro or the Mini, you're listening to a mix. Whereas if you're playing a video and you have 2 camera inputs, both and all 3 of those sources have the audio active, you're listening to the mix of those things. And obviously the mix of all those things has to happen after synchronization. On the YoloBox original, it doesn't mix sources, it chooses sources. So you can't mix video and dialogue. You can't mix 2 camera inputs on the original YoloBox. B Studio says, so from your explanation, it means it's better to mix all the audio on a separate mixer or to sound card than push it in via line. It can be, depending upon the complexity of what you're doing. If you want to have the best audio, or if you want to have the best XLR preamps, yes, external mixer. If you want to have multiple inputs not tied to cameras, external mixer. If you want to do it very simply, you can have a Rode wireless microphone on each person and each person's microphone going to the camera that faces them, and then you could turn on audio follows video, and whenever their camera was up, the audio would be on and it would just do the mixing for you. Or if you're just doing a tutorial like I'm doing, my microphone goes in, my microphone goes into the camera that's in front of me, and that's it. That's all my mixing. I mean, I really don't need to mix anything. I have pre-show music tied to the countdowns, and they're not part of the mixer. You can't adjust the audio level. They're just attached. So however loud that MP3 file is how loud it will be when I do the pre-show and post-show countdowns. I can pick different files, but I can't vary the level. Nor do they fade. They just cut off as soon as the time is done. B Studios NG says, why is it that when I'm using line and mic in, one of them will go off? I want a situation where I can play background music with the line in while the mic does its job. Let's check that. Let us see. We've got our Pro here. No, that's not the Pro. That's not the Pro. That's the Pro. Right here, I'm going to turn off audio follows video. I am going to take my headphone again. Boom, 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 boom. I am going to plug it into my line input. So what that means is down here, line in should come in. And then I'm going to take another headphone from my main one. I'm going to plug it into the mic input. And there's my mic input. And you are correct. It is exclusive. So my guess is, and again, I am not part of the engineering team. My assessment is that there's probably 2 connectors going into one audio path, and it doesn't know whether the only way it knows whether to add the amplification for mic level or don't add the amplification from mic level. It's a switch. You have 2 physical connections, but one audio path, and whether it's amplified or not is based on which one you plug it into, as opposed to manually clicking a button. Like, I've plugged it into the audio input, it's microphone level, amplify it. That's actually harder for people to figure out or remember that they got to go into a menu to turn on the amplification. They'll just be like, why doesn't my microphone work? But by creating 2 different jacks, you automate part of that process. So you've got 2 physical jacks, but you still only have one analog audio pathway. And by forcing the user to pick line or mic, what you're doing then is you're telling the device whether to add amplification or not. So that is what I would guess is happening here. So I just plugged in 2 things. It's just sensing the port. It's not sensing any audio input. So when I take the microphone out, you will see the microphone just vanishes from the list. And again, this doesn't happen on the in-stream. Let's take a look at the in-stream. Let's test it. That's why I love these shows. You know, we come up with a question and then we just start playing around to see if we can come up with an answer. So I'm going to plug into the line input here, and we can see that I'm going to do this one. The line input lit up, and then I'm going to take the headphone out of here. You can see I do have a camera plugged in right there. So this is live. I'm going to plug into the mic input. Is that right? I think so. The 3 evenly spaced ports. So on. That's not USB. Oh, USB audio is on. Okay, turn this on, turn this on. Nope, same thing on the in-stream. So I can select one or the other. And you can see I've got it right here in front of me. And as I select one or the other, and that actually brings up a very good point as well that I hadn't mentioned, is that if you are using a USB camera or you're trying to come in with USB audio, which I honestly don't see a whole lot of value in that, but people like to do it. The YoloBox, none of these boxes will mix with USB audio. It is USB audio in from an external mixer, or the YoloBox mixes audio. It's not going to take your YoloBox, it's not going to take your USB audio in. Like if I take this video, let's do that. I'm going to take the USB camera out of the in-stream. I am going to go over to the Pro. Oh, not that, overhead. Okay, I've got my USB. I'm going to come down here. I actually don't know if this camera has audio. This will be interesting. Oh, I got it right. First time ever. Okay, so I plugged that into the USB port right there. So I got HDMI 1, 2, 3, USB, LAN, and that's my HDMI out. So that's USB. And if I come down here, USB audio, so I turn that on. USB mixing is not supported for A and C ports. So I say, got it. Got it. Okay, so I have to turn that off. There's no other audio. Then I can turn on USB audio. And if I come down here, oh, there actually is audio coming from that box. Oh, that could be the music. So I come over here. Hello. Hello. Wow. Okay. I didn't know that little camera had audio. So that audio is coming in. And if I want to go to my video, nope. See, that's going to be a problem because you come over here. I'm not getting audio from my video because I have USB audio. So if you want to play something back in the YoloBox that has audio, I think you would have to turn on audio follows video. Now this is on, but your camera is off. And then you go back to, well, here, it's going to go back to this. Go away, go here. But when I go to the video is not on because it turned audio follows video off. So USB audio also does not mix. So you're talking mutually exclusive in 3 different ways. If you have the original YoloBox, 1 input. If you are using USB audio, 1 input. If you're using analog, 1 input, line or mic. So there's 3 different mutually exclusive aspects with regards to audio mixing on the YoloBox and in-stream. YoloLiv, can it be used as a slow motion replay? The YoloBox can. I don't know if YoloCast can. There is no YoloLiv. YoloLiv is the company. That's the company. So I'm guessing you're asking about the YoloBox. And if we go to the overhead camera again, you can see right there it says replay. And if you go into the replay settings, replay settings, you can set it down 0.75, 0.5, 0.25. I really don't know why you would want to go that slow, but it's there for somebody who might want to do that. You can go faster than real time, you can go slower than real time. And this up here is the buffer of how big that chunk is that it is always writing to all the time. Like all my devices right now are running replay on the cache. They're all doing it constantly through the whole show. I wish I could turn it off so it's doing less, but that's not a feature right now. So they're all caching this data. And if I hit replay, if I do this 1, 2, 3, and then I hit replay, oh, okay. It's only going to be available while I'm recording or streaming. Got it. So let's record, start recording. There we go. So, hey, technically it's off then. So this one's on and I'm waving and I'm going to, whoa, 2. And now you can see the replay happening on my YoloBox, and it's happening in slow motion. 1, 2, and then I hit the replay button. Bang, and then now it's back to real time. So yes, you can use the YoloBox for slow motion. Mainstream Media TV says, greetings. Let's say I'm using a mixer in the mic input, mono is good, and then I wish to switch to video source 1. I find I must always mute the mixer so I don't hear announcers. Audio follow video doesn't apply here. It should. It should. And let's test that. Let us test that. So I will go into a new show on my here. Let's go over to the audio mixer. You will see I created a new show. It forgot that I had HDMI 1 on, so it doesn't know. I am going to get an audio cable. I'm actually just going to use a pair of headphones, and I am going to plug into, let's just say, the line level input. Let's see if that works. Here it is, line in. Now right now it says line in is on, and you're saying switch to a video source 1. So let's turn on that. Well, do I want video source 1? Always mute the mixer. Oh, video source. Okay, so you're playing a local video. So what you're saying is if I play the video, let's leave, oh, turn audio follows video on. It's got my HDMI on it. I'm going to turn that off because that's not what we're testing. And we've got local video on. Local video is not on yet. Line input is on. I just have nothing on it. And when I say go to the video, I have no video on. Got to turn the music on. And the line input does not turn off. You are correct. You are correct. So yes, it does look like the line input is not being controlled by the audio follows video, at least on the Pro. That is very curious. Now I'm wondering, let's take this out of here. Let's take it over here, plug it into the line input on the Mini, and there it is, line input. Let us, actually, this is a little harder on the Mini because you got to jump between different things. So this is the Mini. I'm on my regular video input, my HDMI 1. I'm going to turn that off because that's not what we're worried about. We're going to turn on audio. Well, okay, if I turn on audio follows video, it's just going to follow me. Now, if I go to the video input, I have to switch off of this. I have to go to switch the video input. There it is, the video. Look at my audio. The line input is still on and my HDMI is off. So you are correct on 2 out of 3 devices. I didn't test the original YoloBox, but right now your assessment is absolutely correct. And I would consider that a bug. That'd be something I would report into. Although I could see people wanting line input to always be on, sort of like background music, you know what I mean? That's where I feel people might expect to always have the background music, you know, something going on, sport. You're going to have sportscasters talking about something, but you always want this extra little audio coming in, so you don't want it. And you can't turn each input audio follows video on and off for each input. It's either globally on or globally off. So it appears you are absolutely correct. Ding, 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 ding. The Mix Minus feature is available automatically for all guests. If they are calling in via the remote guest feature, yes. If they are in the room with you, no. You have to do that manually. So when you listen to the program in the headphones, and this is why I'm not wearing headphones for the show, part of the program is me. So if the guests in the room want to hear the remote guests, you have to take the output of the program and feed it into the room or into in-ear monitors, IEMs. But then when the people in the room speak, they are part of the program and they will hear themselves with the delay, which I can't talk with as much delay as the YoloBox have, which is why I take the headphones out. So that is a challenge. And the only kind of way to get around that is to manually mute the audio going to the in-ear monitors or into the room. So when somebody in the room is talking, you bring it down. When somebody remotely is talking, you bring it up, which is a manual mix minus. So it's a challenge we have right now. And somebody in the group says, should I use the same account for different YoloBoxes or should I use different accounts? I am of the opinion to use the same account on all your devices, which I have, so that one of the key things is, let us go into, let's create a live stream. Go. Done. And you can see there's a live stream input. Even on the original YoloBox, there's a live stream input. So I can have video 1, video 2, but this live stream input could be another YoloBox in another city doing its own event. And when it's streaming, even to just like a dead channel or a hidden thing, it will appear here as a source. And I've done this on the live show before. And that is really cool because you can say, hey, you know, we're here live down the beach, but let's go back up to the party in the hotel. And you hit that button and that's that source. That whole mixer with all the cameras that it has, that program output is available as an input on this device. So even on the original YoloBox, that is an option that you can pick here, which is really cool. Is it possible to use SIM card and Wi-Fi connection at the same time on the YoloBox Pro itself or just with the YoloCast service? You don't need YoloCast to do bonding. Let me show you. We will go to my overhead and go here. So I've got my Pro here, and if I go back out, done. If I go out here, I have YoloCast, okay? So I have YoloCast, and I can create an event. We're going to go in here, standard event, and we're going to go back into this one that I created, the big old GGG event. But you can see down here it says bonding. We're going to click on bonding. Oh, bonding on this account. Okay, I have a different box over there under a different account for these broadcasts. It's under a YOLO account. And bonding is off even with YoloCast. Now, the other box has YoloCast, but it does not have bonding. So if I wanted to bond this show, which is being broadcast to the YoloLiv YouTube account, which is under their account, I can't use bonding because I'm not actually paying for bonding. It's a separate paid thing. And as far as I know, I could possibly be wrong, but I'm 80 to 90% sure you can get bonding without having to pay for YoloCast. Because if you're doing the multicast streaming, which is over here, if you're using YoloLiv, yes, thank you. Let's go back up. No. Stream mode. If you're using YoloLiv's multi-streaming service, you're going to their servers. So that is where that would come into play because you have to go to the YoloLiv multi-streaming service. I could be wrong. It could require YoloCast. Please don't quote me on that, but I'm kind of sure, pretty sure. You just revealed something I need to get better acquainted with. My name is Anthony Barukas from YoloLiv. I appreciate you all being here. We're an hour and 6 minutes, and I enjoy these shows every week with everyone. Once again, I will not be here next week. I am taking a family trip, so I will see you again in August. Keep a lookout for the announcements. And as we said before, like and subscribe so that when we post the new show to the YouTube channel, then you will get a notification that there will be a new live show. And I look forward to seeing you all when I return. You have a great week.